Welcome, everybody, to That Tracks, the podcast where we track how very little sleep Tim and Nick have been getting this weekend because Christmas is starting now.
It has started.
Yeah, it really has. It started with a bang, and
It did.
boy, oh howdy, it was a fun weekend. But
I feel like last year, yeah, it was. Last year, and we're referring to Mickey's Very Merry Christmas Party started on Friday night, and then we had Jollywood Nights last night. We are recording this on Sunday, so it has been
right,
back to back, and it has been wild. But last year, with the addition of Jollywood Nights last year, the first night of Mickey's Very Merry Christmas Party was like I think on like a Thursday night, and then Jollywood Nights was on Saturday night. So there was a day in between to
yeah,
recuperate.
I feel like there was not only a day, I feel like there was more than a day. I feel like it was like a week or
No,
something.
no, it wasn't a
It
week because
wasn't?
no, because I specifically remember friends and I going to Mickey's Very Merry Christmas and then having a day because we should have rested, but we went to Universal that day, and then going the next day to Jollywood Nights. But this whole back-to-back situation was
Right?
definitely interesting. So
Yeah.
we're going to talk a lot about that in this week's episode. I was out there for work. I stayed, thankfully, I did have a hotel room that I got to stay in for work. I was at the Caribbean beach. Um, and that was clutch because driving back and forth would have been absolutely exhausting. So,
Yeah. 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 You live further away than I do, so we stayed
yeah,
home. We
yeah.
drove home every night, and it wasn't terrible,
It
but
would have been
like
nice for you to be on property too, though.
would have been really nice to be on property.
Yeah.
But
No,
it's also like it's hard though because like packing the kids
yeah,
up and taking them to a hotel
yeah,
is also hard.
yeah,
So,
totally. No, Francie and the boys, they talked about potentially coming and like staying at the hotel while I was working. Um, but, and this is something else that we're going to get into in this week's episode, but the weekend before that, I stayed on property with the fam because I was doing the wine and dine, all of the races. And so we just,
and
she,
fun fact, Nick won.
he
He did it.
did not win.
He's like the number one guy.
No, definitely not.
No, that's what I thought I heard.
Very
Sorry.
much, yeah, very
Getting
much
some
not
bad
close.
information maybe.
Yeah, you are for sure. Because I was not close to being number one. In my heart, maybe I was number one, but no, not even in my heart was I number one, but that's okay.
Oh, you should believe in yourself more. You are number one, Nick.
Thank you.
You did great. You
Just re
accomplished it.
I do feel proud of myself. We'll dig into that more, but yeah, so we stayed on property last weekend, and I just told Francie because she looked at me like, "Are we coming back next weekend?" And I was like, "You do not have to." And she was like, "Okay, great."
No.
Yeah.
Stay home.
Yeah, I was
Go to
like, just
sleep.
yeah, rest at home, like chill with the boys, have like eh, we just have to be home, like there's just
Right?
things to be done at home and just rest to be had. So they stayed home this
That's why
weekend while I was away.
I know that it's not right now, but I'm like looking forward to Thanksgiving because like everybody's just gonna stay home
Yeah,
and just be at home.
I wish that was the case, but we are traveling for Thanksgiving, so
Jeez Louise.
I know
We made
I
the
let
decision. We said we're not doing anything.
that's good. I
Literally
legitimately go
nothing.
ahead. That's wisdom. I'm legitimately getting to the point where I'm like I'm feeling a little like suffocated with the amount of things that are happening. Like I feel it's actually contributing to anxiety for me because I feel like it's this like feeling of this is going to sound really bad, but it almost feels like I'm trapped. Like I'm like on a hamster wheel and I cannot get off. And I'm like,
Right?
I really want a break.
Which is ridiculous because like we're going to the theme parks and we're having a
Yes.
great
It
time.
is such a, it sounds, and it's such a place of privilege for sure. Like we are blessed and we are like so blessed to be able to do the things that we do. And I don't take that for granted at all. Absolutely. But like I even like said that I told my one of my friends this week, I was telling him that I was feeling like super stressed and overwhelmed just with everything that was going on. And his response was, I wish my work was a vacation. And I was just like, actually, like I get where that's coming from, and I get that all of the time, and I'm sure that you hear it all of the time as well, where people are like, "Oh yeah, you got to go to work and go to Disney," and it's like, yes, I hear you, I get it. I'm going to a place where people vacation for work, but I'm not going there. Like when I go to Mickey's Very Merry Christmas Party, it's not like let's see where the evening takes me. Let's like, just kind of stroll around and no,
Right.
we have pre-production meetings for these things. We talk about the content that we want to get. We make plans. We have a team that's there and the team has to like one person's going to capture this content, the other person's going to capture this content. And like it's work. Like and everybody has work. Like everybody works hard jobs, but like just because my work is at a Disney park doesn't mean that it's just like nonchalant and like there's no effort into it because it's definitely like you've got to check a lot of things off of a list. So, um, yeah, but it's just a really busy season. Like, and that's just what it is. Like, it's leading up to the holidays. I think that like once mid-December gets here, that's when things will finally start to slow down. I hope. By mid-December, I
Uh,
mean like the last week of December when Christmas is
like
actually
Christmas
here.
Day.
Yeah. I feel like Christmas, like the week of Christmas, things tend to mellow out because the parks at that point, like they are what they are. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like there's nothing new happening at that point. Like it's just there's no new festivals, there's no new events, there's no new parties, right?
Right. But man, oh man, did we get some news this week?
Oh, I don't even know what
We
you're
didn't
referring
because
to.
of D23 in Brazil.
Oh,
Did you
yeah,
see
yeah.
this?
No, maybe, I don't
They
know.
they released actual footage of the Cars ride that's going in Magic Kingdom. Like
I
not
didn't see the footage.
animated footage,
Oh man,
actual video camera footage where they built the track. They built it in some location like out in the desert or something. I don't know where it is. And they have the ride vehicles racing with cameras on them and they sent a drone up and we're over top of it too.
I didn't
It is
see
a
this.
fully fast trackless ride that's it's amazing looking.
I
It was like
saw I saw like some notifications about it, but I didn't get the chance to actually like look at the content.
you have to
That's
watch this video.
yeah, I
It
should.
is like when I looked at it, I was like, "Oh, cool! They like have an animation there." Like, I don't think it's really going to be like that. And then they had the overhead drone shot, and I was like, "Wait,
This
there's
is
like
real.
RVs over there, and there's like people standing around." And I was like, "What? What is happening here?" And then I looked back at it, and it looks like they just have it. It's like fast off-road golf carts,
That's wild.
like, and there's two of them, and they're just racing after each other uh, without a track.
I saw that there it was trackless and I saw that it was like new tech sort of like new technology for this attraction.
It'll
But
be the fastest trackless ride ever made,
oh my gosh. That's pretty exciting, honestly. But
right?
it's gonna have to be like it's gonna be very child oriented. So it's gonna have to be like not so fast that like small children can't ride it, right?
I don't know. No, there's two different rides,
Right.
isn't
But
there?
yeah, and I think the other one is geared more for smaller children. But I
Yeah.
don't mean like toddlers. I mean like
Well, no, I
Ethan's
mean
age, like
like
Jackson's age.
Radiator Springs,
Right. Jackson
you
can ride
know?
Radiator Springs, right?
Yeah, Jackson could ride Radiator Springs when he was two.
Right. But that's what
So,
I'm saying. Like this seems more intense than that, and so
hmm,
that'll be interesting.
it's not more
Okay.
intense than Radiator Springs, but it is probably going to be still pretty thrilling because it has ups and downs and turns and stuff like that.
Right.
But it's like the one that they had was on a dirt track.
So
I
interesting.
don't think it's going to be actually on a dirt track. I think it's going to be concrete, but still.
It's like motocross.
Yeah, it was on a clay track.
That's wild.
And that's what it
I
looked
have to
like.
watch
It
it.
looked like a motocross track.
Hey, that's
It
interesting.
was wild.
I'm gonna have to check it out. Yeah, it
Yeah.
was interesting to see just the event in general happening in Brazil. Like the whole concept of the event fascinates me, just like them doing a D23. I love that they did a D23 internationally. I think that that's fantastic. I saw some commentary from people saying like, why are they doing this in a country where there's not like a Disney park? But I think it's cool. I think like there's tons of Disney park fans in Brazil. We know because we see a lot of visitors from Brazil at Walt Disney World in Orlando. So like,
Right.
why the heck would they not take that excitement to them? I think that that's awesome.
Well, but
But
also it's kind of a silly question to ask, like, why are they doing it in Brazil? Because like Disney knows who comes to the parks.
right,
Disney knows
yeah,
where the money comes from.
yeah, like
Obviously, it comes from Brazil,
right. I was about to say, like, obviously you should probably rethink your question, like,
right?
but I also feel like they should take this and run with it. Like, don't limit it to just Brazil. Like, I can picture them doing a D23 in Europe eventually, like maybe in the
Do one
UK.
in Asia.
Yeah, absolutely. I think a lot of people would show up for those things.
Yeah.
And
But
then,
another thing that came out at D23 was, and I thought this was really funny, the characters that are going to be in Villains
yeah.
Land.
Also, we're straight up going into news right now, so you should just go ahead and hit that news button.
Forgot about the button. News. But I thought it was really funny because one of the people that we follow for news is Scott Gustin, and
Yeah.
he like immediately he saw the concept art, and he's like, this is just the drawings from the Lorcana cards. And he literally like took the Lorcana cards and like set them up there,
Oh,
and
wow.
it was exactly
The
just the
same
anime,
ones.
like it was the artwork from Lorcana.
That's kind of lame.
Yeah,
But
but
I will say the list of villains, Yzma was on there, and a lot of people are excited about that. So
yeah,
she doesn't really have like, or Emperor's New Groove doesn't have any sort of like in-park representation. So people are pretty pumped about the fact that Yzma was on that list.
and I also thought that it was interesting that the dragon Maleficent, the dragon
And
was there,
Maleficent. Yeah.
and Maleficent. Yeah,
Yeah. She's the same.
so
Yeah.
it was interesting that they had both of those there.
Those can't coexist at the same time because it's the same person.
Yeah, but then I think that that might be representative of a ride.
Right. Right.
So
Yeah.
we'll
I
see.
think I think Maleficent may be like the head honcho in this area.
Mm,
She tends to be presented as that, like she's the mistress of evil, so she tends to be like the top villain. I don't know.
Elvira.
Who would be your top villain?
Ooh, my top villain?
Yeah.
That's a good question. I don't know. I don't know if I've ever thought of who my top villain is.
Like
Who's your top villain?
I feel like Maleficent could probably take out the rest of the villains. Hades would be up there.
Yeah, Chernabog.
Yeah.
We didn't see anything about Chernabog in there.
He was on there. He was one of the pictures.
Was he on there?
Hmm.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Hmm. I
Yeah.
don't know. Who is the top villain?
Definitely
Definitely
not
not
like
Gaston.
or like a Hook.
Hook.
Yeah.
Scar, I feel like. There are
No.
definitely like villains that could take out other villains.
Yeah, like Maleficent
Easily.
could wipe those three like that. Gaston, see ya.
Yeah.
Hook, see ya. Scar, see ya. Although,
Cruella,
yeah.
get out of here. Like, I'm
Igor.
not saying me telling Cruella to get out of
Right,
here. I'm
right,
saying
right.
Maleficent.
Yeah,
Ugh,
yeah.
you know?
It's got to be like the heavy hitters. Like Maleficent versus Hades would be a pretty intense battle. Um,
Right?
and Chernabog. So, yeah, I think we did a good job picking at least top three.
Okay.
Weigh in
I
on the
like it.
comments. Let us know. Let us know who you think would be
I feel like,
the one villain to rule them all.
yeah, who would it be? Hmm.
Um, anyways, so other news.
I have
I don't
other news if you.
I didn't see a lot else coming from the D23 stuff,
No, that was the only two big things that I saw from
like Disney
D23.
parks. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, what's
And
your other
then
news?
over at Universal, they have taken, and they're going to have this opening soon. We don't know when, but they've taken the Universal. It's not called Universal. It was like the Betty Boop Hello Kitty store,
Yeah.
but the middle section was like Universe. It was like their streetwear line.
Yeah. Yeah.
Anyways, they closed all that down, and it's all going to be Wicked.
Yeah.
And so they've started rolling out various Wicked merchandise at the
Hmm.
Universal Store in City Walk and in carts at City Walk and in various places throughout the park. And then they also opened up the snack cart out in front of that store has food specific to Wicked. So they're like really leaning in hard to Wicked,
Yeah.
and I'm really here for it. But I'm kind of interested to know why do they not do this with any other movies.
I know. I'm so fascinated by that. So I helped cover this too for work, because it's happening over at Universal Hollywood as well. And they have already opened up most of their stuff at Universal Hollywood. And like I helped make a reel for work with videos of like some of the food items, and it's just like there's a lot. Like there's a
I
lot of
know,
stuff that they're doing. And I know that the hype for Wicked is real. Like a lot of people are very excited about this movie. I'm excited to check it out. Francie and I have our tickets. But I just, you're right. Like I don't know another movie that Universal has made this big of a deal for ever.
right?
Yeah.
Literally every company out there has a Wicked collab.
Right. Yeah. It's
There's
wild.
like Starbucks. They've
Yeah.
got cups, they've got drinks.
And those
There's
things are flying off the shelves.
right?
Star
Uh
or Target has tons of Wicked stuff.
yeah.
Yeah.
Vera Bradley's got a Wicked thing. Uh all the makeup lines have Wicked things.
Yeah. It's
It's
fascinating. But people
wild.
people are excited about it. I'm not gonna lie, and people will probably be upset about this, so roast me. I have never seen the musical.
And that's not a thing that a lot of people have.
But I also like I know I know the gist of Wicked. Like I get like the story somewhat, but I don't know details much at
Okay,
all. I've never listened to the soundtrack all the way
right.
through. I've listened to some songs, but never the whole soundtrack. So my like knowledge of this is very limited, but I kind of am excited about that to take it into the movie because I'll get to experience the movie with like fresh eyes. Like I don't I think a lot of people who are super fans of the musical and those who are fans of the book are going to obviously go into this with bias, which makes sense. Anytime that you have experienced something and then it's turned into a film, you watch it and you're like, what the heck? You know, like this was different
Right.
and this was missing. And a lot of times it can be very exciting as well, but I'm looking forward to going into this movie with very limited information to just kind of like experience the story for the first time.
Well, and I can tell you this, you are not alone because that is the way that I have experienced the most musicals
Hmm.
is through their movie adaptations.
Yeah. Well,
So,
I don't think a lot of people, I mean, I don't think a lot of people get to go to musicals on a regular basis. Like if you live in an
right.
area where that is accessible to you, then sure, yeah, that makes sense. But I live in the middle of the state of Florida. Like, there's not a lot of musicals that come through here. So
There are. There really are though.
if I drive to places
If you
like
come to
Orlando or
Orlando,
Tampa, yeah, yeah, yeah.
come
But I
down to
mean, like
Orlando.
specifically in my town, it's not like a and we could go to the Phillips Center in Orlando, and we could go to Straws in Tampa and go see some of these things. But that's just not always something that we do. Francie and I have been to a Broadway show together. We saw Aladdin on Broadway, and I enjoy like, yeah, I enjoy like Broadway style shows. They're fun to watch, but just
You
not
should
something.
come. The Lion King in Orlando is going to go on sale soon.
Oh, I would love that. The Lion
Yeah,
King is something that I would really love to be able to see. So,
let's go.
all right, let's do it. Take the
Yeah,
families.
let's do it. It's in like March, I think.
Okay, I'm down for that.
So,
Book it.
all right, let's do it.
But yeah, so I don't have any other specific news. Universal, anything else big happening over there? The holidays are
They've just been,
starting
yeah, they've been
soon.
taking down all of their stuff for
Yeah,
um from Halloween Horror Nights,
yeah.
and
HHN
they
is
haven't started their Christmas
officially
stuff
over.
yet.
I think it starts on November 22nd. The
I think
holidays
you're right.
start at Universal.
That is a
Yeah,
date that is burnt into my memory
etched into your brain. Yeah.
for a reason.
I know it for work. So yes, November
Yeah.
22nd.
That's
I'm
the thing
excited.
about what we do too, is that there are so many dates
Yes.
that just like are
Never ending.
thrown around all over the place.
Yeah.
It's like
Thank God for calendars.
sometimes people are like, how does Tim get so much information wrong? And I'm like, there's so much information.
Yeah. Well, you especially keep a lot of extra information in your head.
I really do.
Yeah.
It's fun. And just so you guys know, 90% of the time, there is some song happening in my brain from some musical somewhere. So,
You know what song's been stuck in my head a lot lately? Have
what?
you on TikTok, have you seen the trend that people are doing where they're singing the song from Hamilton, but it's like a sped up version of it? and it's the scene where Angelica and Eliza are together and they're like singing with Alexander about like going to spend the summer upstate. You've obviously not seen this. I mean,
No,
you've
no, I
seen.
haven't seen the trend. I know the song.
Okay. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Well, it's
So,
just funny. People like they're giving um Angelica's like point of view, and then some people are and giving like Alexander's point of view. It's just funny. They're like taking it and doing different twists on it and stuff like that. But anyways, that song's been
I'll
getting
look into
stuck in
it.
my
Yeah, I
head.
did just listen to Hamilton
Yeah,
recently.
so
So
good.
yeah, it really
Such a
is.
good
It's
one.
good.
I'd like to see that one live one day too. I have watched that one because I've watched it on Disney Plus multiple
Yeah,
times. So
this is very good live. You
you
should go
saw
see
it
it.
in Broadway or on Broadway?
I saw it in Broadway across America.
Oh, okay.
Does that count?
Yeah, yeah, for
Came to
sure.
Orlando. Yeah.
Yeah, that's cool. That's cool.
That's where I've never been to New York. Well,
That
I
was,
have been to New York. I had a layover in New York for our wedding, but
oh yeah, you need to go to New York City.
yeah, Jen goes.
I
She's
friggin' love New York
leave,
City so much.
leaving tomorrow.
You're in for a treat.
Yeah,
Dad life for a few days.
yeah, it'll be all right because we
You'll
got school
crush
and
it.
stuff. So
You'll crush it as usual. My yeah, we should go to New York together.
let's go.
That would be fun. Nick and Tim track through New York City. Oh, that's some good content right
Yeah.
there. Oh, I'm serious about this. Let's do it. I freaking love New York City so much. My mom was born in the Bronx.
Okay, let's
Yeah,
go.
game on.
All right.
That'd be some really, really good content. Let's plan that out. We'll
Okay,
plan it for next year.
let's plan it for this week
Okay. Yeah. You just show up in New York with Jen. She's like,
with
no.
Nick. She's like, "Where are the kids?" And I'm
Where are
like,
the children? They're
Luke
with
and Ethan are
Francie.
watching them."
Oh dear. Well, that's exciting. I hope Jen has a great trip to New York.
Yeah, she will
Is she going for like a particular reason?
to see Wicked on Broadway. Yeah.
Jealous. I didn't know why she was going. I just knew that she was.
Oh yeah.
That's exciting. She's familiar with it. Has she seen it before?
No.
Oh, that's fun. Very cool.
Yeah.
Um, well, I'm trying to think if there's any other like news that we need to get into. I don't think so, but I do want to jump into my weekend with Wine and Dine, which feels like 10 years ago at this point. But
Yeah.
first, I want to start by saying a huge thank you to Swan Dolphin for hosting us during the weekend. It was so much fun. I was blown away by the resort. Like Swan and Dolphin, um, I stayed there when I was a kid, and I hadn't stayed there since then. And I have been underestimating those resorts and like the things that are offered there. They're massive. There's so many places to eat. There's like so many different options for food. The pool is very nice. The boys had a blast swimming at the pool. Fun little slide. Um,
Another thing that people don't realize is they have a character dining there.
Yeah, absolutely. And like also like you see it when you're on the boardwalk or you see it when you're at Epcot, but it is truly like so conveniently located to Crescent Lake. Like it is such a fast walk from there to Epcot. I mean, if you can walk from Yacht Club or if you can walk from Boardwalk, it's not that much more of a walk from there. Even Swan Reserve, which is across the street, from the Swan and Dolphin is not far at all. Like the Swan Reserve is such a quick walk to Crescent Lake as well. So I was very impressed by that, and also specifically for a Run Disney weekend, it was clutch. It's right around the corner from Epcot, so when I drove to the parking lot, it was less than 5 minutes to get there. And then also for Francie and the boys being spectators, two of the courses took us like around around Boardwalk. And so all they had to do was the one morning was the 10K, and it was very early by the time that I was running past the Dolphin. And so Francie and the boys just stood out on the balcony and waved. I was like, do not worry about coming down here, which was cool because I could see them. They were very far away. But still to be able to watch them from the balcony and them see me from the balcony was really cool. And then the next morning for the half marathon, it was a little bit later that I was going to be running through there. And so they walked down to the course, and it was super easy, very easy for them to get down there, very easy for them to see me and then go back and be able to get some rest while I finished the race. But the convenience for spectators also was pretty clutch as well. So I just wanted to give a shout out to them. Thank you for hosting me, and it was a blast. I know you guys have stayed there quite a few times as well.
Yeah, but I was also thinking about Jollywood Nights too.
Yeah,
Like, I would have
Skyliner
loved to have
access.
even just walking, just
Yeah.
walk back to the Swan and Dolphin from Jollywood Nights and like, oh, we did it. We're here.
Yeah, yeah. It's so convenient. It's literally right. It's like it's centrally located to most places, and they have buses too that will take you to the different parks.
Or
I
the
took a
boat.
yeah, I took a yeah from Hollywood Studios. I took a bus to Magic Kingdom while I was there, and it was really easy and convenient for sure. So the buses when you're leaving Magic Kingdom, they're not like by where all of the other Disney buses are, so you do have to go to the TTC, but there's a bus there that will take you back to Swan and Dolphin. So very convenient. Huge thank you to them. Yeah, if you're going to Jollywood Nights, that's a game changer for sure to be able to walk back. You know what I didn't realize is that the Skyliner does not run after Jollywood Nights. Learned that last night.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because we were staying at Caribbean Beach, which was really unfortunate. We'll transition the conversation now, though, from oh, I want to get into the races too.
Oh
But we
yeah.
do need to talk about Jollywood. Well, let's table the Jollywood conversation.
All right.
Races, there's not much to get into. I ran. I did it.
Yeah, you did it.
I did the 5K, the 10K, and the half marathon. But the coolest part was getting to meet so many of you guys on the course. So for everybody who said hello, thank you for saying hi. It was such a pleasure to get to meet you guys. And then to hear people come up to me and say, like, I'm running this weekend because of you talking about it on the podcast. I was just like, wow, like
And
that
they're
is.
like, it's no fun.
No, they did not say that. No, they were like, "Where's Tim?" I'm just
Yeah.
kidding.
No, I was sleeping, but I
You
did
weren't
wake up
though.
about halfway through your half marathon.
Yeah, you did. You text me. I
Yeah, I
appreciated
was like, I'm awake, and you made it halfway.
that. Anytime that I get texts while I'm running, it's actually super motivating. Like it's like it feels nice knowing that people are paying attention. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's encouraging. But yeah, so but yeah, the races were fun. I will say that I finished the half marathon and I just was like, I have got to get some miles in before Dopey. Like
Yeah, yeah.
I
It's
I
literally in like 2 months.
I know.
Not even. It's like a month and a half now.
No, it's like 2 months. Like
Okay.
January 9th, maybe is the first race.
Hmm.
Um
Yeah, 2 months exactly here.
I did better than I thought I was going to. Like my body did better than I thought it would during the races. It like I felt fine after. I was sore for a couple days, but not as bad as it could have been. And I mean, I ran 3 races, so like that seems like when you're doing dopey, you're like, oh, you did like, you know, uh, what is it?
What
What are the words that I'm
what are you
looking
trying to
for?
say?
I
You
don't
did
know.
you ran
Three
the dopey
quarters. You ran
three
like three
quarters.
three quarters of your races. Sure, yeah, actual races I ran 3 quarters of it. But as far as mileage goes, I didn't even run half of what I'll run the day of the marathon. Like when you do the 5K, the 10K, and the half, you're at like 22 point something miles, and then you turn around and run 26 the last day.
Yeah.
Um, I've definitely got to get more training in for sure because the idea when we finished the half marathon, the idea of running a full marathon the next day, we all looked at each other and we were like, "Oh man, like we've got some work to do before Dopey rolls around." Um, but the Wine and Dine is fun in particular because the the um when you run the half marathon, you are given a free ticket to an act like a post race party that takes place at Epcot. Um, it's interesting because it's the day of the half marathon that this party happens, and the event time for the party, it's after Epcot closes, and it goes from 10 p.m. till 1 a.m. And so, like, after you've done a half marathon, and also if you've done like the challenge, you've done 2 races, or if you did all 3 races, then you're pretty wiped out by the time that that gets there.
Right.
You just did this back in September, but um, it stinks if you're ever going to run a Run Disney race. make sure that you book a hotel room for the day, like the last day of the race. Make sure
Yeah,
that you have a
don't
hotel.
leave that day.
No, it's not wise, and I do it every single time, and I always regret it because I finish the race and then I like go get breakfast or something, and then I'll either have to go back to the room, shower, and then immediately leave. And in this scenario, I went to Chef Mickey's because I wore a costume that was like themed to Chef Mickey's. And by the time I left Chef Mickey's, Francie and the boys had already had to like check out of the room, like they were already out of it. So I had to go shower at a friend's room, and then there was no opportunity to like sleep. um, and so I stayed awake until I went to Epcot and then just sat at Epcot until 10 p.m. when the event started, walked around Epcot for a while. And then driving home that night was brutal.
Yeah.
So I don't recommend it. But the
Well,
event
here's my tip to
itself was
you.
fun. Yes.
Uh, go to the Contemporary and have a little nappy nap up on the convention floors.
I'm not going to say that I haven't done that before because I have done that before, and those couches are very comfortable. So,
Yeah. Go
um,
over to Wilderness Lodge and have a little nappy nap
by the
in a
fire.
rocking chair by the fire.
I just know that the day that I do that, like someone's gonna come by and be like, take a picture and be like, the theme park dad sleeping like right here, whatever.
Listen, if you've just run a 5K, a 10K and a half marathon, you're allowed to sleep in the Contemporary couches. Other people have. You could
Just
too.
make sure you're wearing your medal, and then you're good to go.
Yeah. Have the computer open in front of you like you're working so you kind of look like this.
Put your sunglasses on.
Yeah. Weekend at Bernie's it.
Oh gosh, that's good. But yeah, it was a fun race weekend, and I'm just glad it's back. It's back, baby. We're in race season now.
Where did it go?
It went away for the summer. Race season
Oh.
ends after springtime, and then it doesn't come back until, I mean, if you're looking at Walt Disney World specifically, it doesn't come back
Oh, I
till
was like, what did I run?
Wine and Dine. Well, that's part of race season at Disneyland for sure. There were people who ran those races with you, and then they got their coast to coast medals with Wine and Dine.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's cool.
If you do a half marathon this season, you get a coast to coast medal.
I'm not going to. Don't
Come
you
on.
worry. There's 0%. I got back on the bike.
Oh, that's
That's what
good.
I started doing. I'm not running anymore. It hurts me so much.
The bike is a lot
Uh,
better for your joints.
yeah, I
Yeah.
don't need to do that.
Yeah.
Also, it's weird because the bike, I feel like, and it's so strange because when I run, I know that I get a better workout. Like my heart rate stays up longer and
Yeah.
like uh I burn more calories, but on the bike, I can tell that I am pushing more with my legs. Like I'm actually getting a like almost like a weightlifting workout with my legs.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can see that for sure.
So that to
Not as
me
much
says that I'm
not as
burning
much
calories past the actual event.
Well, you're exerting more muscle probably when you're doing the bike, but then also your heart rate's going up more when you're running because it's more of a cardio workout.
Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah. But both are good for you. So
that's true.
um well, I think we should just get into the holidays now. Tis the
Yeah,
season.
Christmas is starting now. I am pretty sad that I haven't heard that song at a Disney park yet,
Yeah.
which I used to hear it all the time at Osborne Lights. And like, Osborne Lights was 9 years ago, by the way, anybody that's counting. It's very sad that it
Yeah.
closed 9 years ago.
Yeah.
Um, so we'll start with
Mickey's Very Merry Christmas
Very
Party.
Merry.
Let's
Yeah.
talk about sounds because did you notice the soundtrack changed with the parade?
Yes, I've got thoughts.
I don't love it.
Here's what I love. I
Okay. Where
loved,
did you watch the parade from?
I watched it from across the street from the confectionery.
Okay.
So like almost at the tree.
I was sitting in front of the tree. So I was watching it like come towards me.
Yeah, I like that shot, but I like the interactions
Yeah.
of being at specific points on Main Street.
Listen, where I was, because I was there with my work team. And so Ryan, our cameraman, he was standing like he like as soon as we got into the park, he set up his camera, which you have to do because, especially on that first night, because, you know, all the bloggers and vloggers and everybody's out there.
Yeah.
So he set up his camera like as soon as we got into the park, and then he just kind of like camped out there until the parade happened, which was for a couple of hours. We did bring him a burger from from Cosmic Race, but he was camped out there for a while. I showed up probably like 45 minutes before the parade started, and it wasn't really full at that point. Like that first like line was full for sure, but everybody
Hmm.
behind them, there wasn't a lot of people behind them because they had their cameras set up. So like people weren't like regular guests were not trying to stand behind the cameras. Do you know what I mean? Because they
Yeah.
were on tripods. Um, and so I was, I basically was like, I've got to get this shot too, but Ryan was already there. So I sat down like at Ryan's feet and like I poked my arm through the tripod and just held my phone like under the tripod. So I don't know that any of the friends in the parade even saw me. Like if they saw me,
Right.
they would have been like, what's that guy doing
Yeah.
down
It's like, what is
there?
this weirdo doing down here?
Anyways, go ahead. Sorry. I
Yeah.
just
No.
wish I thought about that when I was watching the parade. I was like, I wonder what like all of these friends in the parade think seeing this like this guy like kind of like wedged under this tripod right now. But anyway,
So the song was always Once Upon a Christmas Time at Christmas, right?
right, right.
Um, that is owned by Disney.
Mhm.
All of the other songs that were in there, Blaster's I'll Be Home for Christmas, that is not owned by Disney.
Right.
Or, they had to lease rights to it. So I'm assuming that those ran out. And so they decided
Mhm.
to keep their original song,
Yeah.
the Once Upon a Christmas Time at Christmas, and then in the transition moments, do different songs. And
Yeah.
so they had the it was the Nutcracker, the dun 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 dun
Yeah.
dun dun, dun, but it was like uh yummy 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 cookie time, and I was
Yeah.
like, I hate this.
Yeah, I
I
did
do
not
not
like
want
that.
this to be in this parade at all.
Yeah.
But then the other song that they chose was the holly and the ivy,
Hmm.
and I loved that. And I was like, this is a jam right here. Like this is a vibe. We're feeling it, feeling like nostalgic, I guess, and like
Yeah.
it felt very much like we were in like A Christmas Carol, Charles Dickens. Not
I
like
don't.
the spooky,
Right,
ghosty
right, right,
stuff, but
right, right.
like that
Happy
day when he's like,
moments.
"Boy, what day is it?" And he's like, "It's Christmas Day, sir." And he's like, "Go buy the largest turkey in the window." That day was what was happening at Magic Kingdom.
I don't know. I feel like I wish they would have gotten the rights or continued to lease the rights for I'll Be Home for Christmas. Because that like
Yeah,
there's nostalgia for that. Like Disney is home, you know, like what they say, welcome home. And so like listening to I'll Be Home for Christmas, it's not just I'll Be Home for Christmas, but the way that it's like tied into that music and the way that like the characters are swaying to it as they walk
yeah.
down Main Street, I missed that a lot this year. You also texted me, you were like, someone needs to turn down the Snope.
There was too much.
It was
Like
pretty intense.
we noticed that the performers in the parade were like coughing because the Snope was going in their mouths. All of the horses for Cinderella's carriage were like, and I'm like, what?
I'm showing everybody who's
Like
watching on
this is
YouTube a video
ridiculous.
that
Like
it's pretty
it
intense.
was so much. And I'm like, I
I
get it. Like this is nice. There's snow in the air, but I was like, it was like when there's mosquitoes around, you're like trying to put them out of your face.
I'm not gonna lie, I fully disagree with you. For me, there can like never be enough Snope. Like it absolutely looks like just pure magic. For those
Yes,
again,
it
for those
looks nice. I get that. But there has to be a balance of people being able to breathe.
maybe it's because I was under the tripod that I wasn't as affected. Like all the snow was like getting blocked by the time that it made it to me.
And I was
But
sitting there eating so we went to Golden Oak Outpost right beforehand to
okay.
get the quote unquote fried ice cream. And
I hated that.
it was really bad. It was really bad. It wasn't fried at all. It was like rolled in like Special K. And I was
Yeah.
like, I
Yeah, it was
don't.
like flaky.
Yeah, it was either a Special K or it was supposed to be Frosted Flakes, but like they were not good. Imagine
It's
like because it's ice cream, it melts. It's like the cereal that's at the bottom of your bowl.
Right.
when you're done
It's
with
so
your
funny
cereal.
because it's not like someone may try that and love it because
Yeah,
everybody has different like flavor profiles and stuff. But it's funny because I recorded myself eating that while I was on video and I took a bite of it and I was like, okay. I was like, this is not for me, but it might be for you, like that
this
kind of
is a
thing.
flavor
Yeah.
that's somebody might enjoy. And
But
like,
someone watched that video that I saw this weekend and they were like, Nick, tell me how you really felt about that fried ice cream. And I was like, oh man, was it that obvious?
yeah,
So yeah.
and there was like a whipped cream on top or something that was also bad.
Yeah.
And I was like,
Yeah. It was supposed to look like a Christmas tree. And ours was
oh,
like,
ours was just a well,
yeah, that's what
that's
ours
what
was too.
ours was a
Yeah.
Christmas bowl.
Yeah. But I did have the beignets. And I mean they're just beignets, but they different have like a different powder on them. But they were like a sugar cookie.
It's a sugary cookie. They had cookie butter icing on them.
They were delicious.
The chicken nuggets from there
Mm,
with the sage butter,
I didn't have it. So
they were
good.
awesome. But
I
that's what I was
really
trying to eat, and it was getting covered with Snope. And I'm just like, I hope this isn't toxic. It's like eating mashed potatoes full of soap.
I I tried a lot of food. Um, Favorite was the what I thought it was going to be was the lasagna flatbread.
Mm. We
So
didn't
good.
we weren't in the mood for flatbread.
Uh,
We were in the mood for hot dogs.
I had two different hot dogs.
I only had one hot dog, but it
I didn't
was
eat all of this, by the way. I did not eat like two different flatbreads and then two different hot dogs and beignets. We were there as a team and we were splitting all of this up.
hmm I was not there as a team.
Yeah,
I
you
did
were.
eat everything. It was me and Jen.
Yeah.
Um, but that hot dog at the Friar's Nook, it was like a hot dog that had like beef on it, like roast beef,
Yeah.
something or other.
Like the pot roast. It was
The
like
pot
pot
roast,
roast.
yeah.
Yeah.
But I wish it had more of the meat, like more of the beef on it. But it was the best hot dog I've ever had at Walt Disney World.
Wow. That's
It had a
impressive.
snap. I've never had a hot dog snap at Walt Disney World. I was
I
like, oh,
have
we got a new
I
type of hot dog.
I had that hot dog as well, but I liked the Casey's hot dog better.
We didn't get that.
Okay.
So we need to go back and get that.
I really want to go back to the party this year. Like I had
Yeah.
such a great time. I thought they did. It felt like one of the best Christmas parties that I've gone to in recent years.
Yeah. There's a
I
lot of
want
good
to,
stuff.
yeah, I want to go back. I really want to take the family, but I'm not gonna lie. I don't think we can swing it. Like
Yeah, it's a lot of money.
it's so expensive for four of us to go. Like
And it's
I
also
was,
late. It's
yeah,
like
but
$800 for the four of you to go.
right, exactly. Yeah,
Like,
I don't,
not a lot of money.
I don't feel like I don't want to say it's not worth it because it would be worth it to a lot of people, but for people who get to go to the parks all of the time, I don't know that it's worth it to us. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like I don't, which I have a really hard time even saying that because I love that event so much. It's my favorite event of the year. But yeah, I don't feel like this will be the year that we do it, which is sad because man, that party used to be like 80 bucks.
Yeah.
Like I miss those days for
I
sure.
always like wax poetic about two things. One, that one year that they gave season passes to the Halloween party,
Hmm.
and then two, the first year of Festival of the Holidays.
What about the first year of Festival though?
Oh man, they gave full-size portions of the
Oh yeah,
food.
yeah.
And I
Oh
was
yeah,
like,
yeah.
man, this is the greatest. And it was like fair. It was like the same price that you would pay for like a, a sample size at the other festivals. And I was
Yeah,
like, this is the
full
greatest thing
plates.
ever.
Yeah, they quickly realize we're not getting good ROI here. We gotta
Right.
dial this back. But no, I will say though that the party itself, like I said, an absolute blast. Something new this year is that they added Storybook Circus has changed completely. They have now like given that entire area its own theming.
Santa's
Um,
Carnival.
yeah, I love that concept.
We spent a lot of time in there. It was so good.
Brilliant. That is like one of the best things that they could have done because Santa before met at that little like gazebo that is behind the Christmas shop.
Yeah.
Um and now
Is
he
that
has
no, wait. We gotta but time out rewind. He, during the day, met there. During
I
the party, he met over by City Hall.
I remember meeting him. No, I remember meeting him at the gazebo during the
I've
party.
met him at both places.
Okay.
I know for sure that I've met him at both places.
I know for sure I've met him at the good little gazebo during the party because I filmed a vlog for the Happiest Podcast on Earth a couple years ago, and that's where we met him. Because
Yeah.
he said like he said something like "Merry Christmas, happiest podcast on Earth" or something like that. So maybe it changed a couple of times,
Yeah. I'm wondering.
but the new spot is perfection. He's
It
meeting
really is.
now where Santa Goofy actually met in that location last year, but it's not like so you've got Pete's silly sideshow, and then right
Hmm.
next to that, there's this like this covered area that during the day is really just used for people to just go like relax. Chip and Dale kind of meet around the corner from there sometimes. Um, he's meeting in that covered area, but the way that they have it set up is perfect because there's a queue and then there's tables set up all around, and these tables are like craft tables and they have
Yeah. You
markers.
can
And
write letters to Santa.
yeah, the kids can like it's so brilliant because I think one of the parents could go wait in line, and then the other parent could take the kids and let the kids like while they're waiting write their letters for Santa, and then go join the other family member in line again, and then like take the letters to Santa Claus.
Yeah.
Brilliant. I
And they
love it.
also had another table where you could make an ornament.
Yeah, I saw that as well. I thought that was
And
brilliant.
after you met Santa, they were handing out tubes of mini M&Ms
I
and
didn't know
candy
that.
canes.
Well, dang it.
And I was like, "Whoa, look at this."
I really slacked in my cookie consumption. I
We
didn't even
had
eat
four cookies.
I didn't eat one.
We There were only five locations, and we had four of them.
Yeah.
And I got to admit, Cheryl, we said this in the vlog. It's Cheryl's cookies. That's
Yeah.
what they are. They're pre-wrapped cookies.
Yeah.
But like, we need to get some variety
I
in
know.
Cheryl's cookies.
They're like all the same.
Yeah,
They're not
there
all
were
the same.
two. Okay, so Lunching Pad had a sugar cookie with buttercream frosting.
Red. Yeah.
Yeah, Cosmic Rays had a sugar cookie with buttercream frosting, green.
Green. Yeah.
Uh, the Gastons had a gingerbread cookie with
Okay.
frosting.
I didn't go to the Gaston's.
Same basic idea, slightly different flavor.
Yeah.
Um, Tortuga Tavern had a red velvet,
Yeah.
and then Columbia Harbor House had the best cookie in the world,
Dang
which
it.
was chocolate chip, pretzels, and caramel.
Oh my gosh, that sounds amazing. Why didn't I
It
go
was
there?
so good.
Dang
And I
it.
don't know why there isn't like put that other places too.
I had
And
this whole
then
idea to film this reel of like how many cookies we could consume that night. We literally like we never made it. But that's the thing. This,
you're
this
like,
goes
we
back
had
to
one.
yeah, this goes back. I didn't even eat one.
You didn't
This
have
goes back
any.
no, this goes back to the work conversation of like we just had so much we had to do. There was just so much like we were trying to see characters. The characters were great. I thought the
Yeah,
characters were fantastic. Anna and Elsa are meeting together at Princess Fairytale Hall, and they're in their like holiday outfits.
yeah.
They look great.
The
Um,
things that they wear during that time of year.
yeah. And then right next to in Pete's Silly Sideshow, right next to Santa Claus, you can see and I love that they did this, although a lot of people were sad and missed the Seven Dwarfs because
Yeah.
all of them together is it's pretty iconic. But in that area you can meet
Donald,
Donald,
Daisy,
Daisy,
Minnie, and
and
Scrooge.
Scrooge. Yeah, but they look
Yeah.
great. Did you guys go in there?
We poked in there and they
Okay.
said it's an 80-minute wait. And we said, that's
Mhm.
okay. We are not going to wait for 80 minutes.
It was a pretty
Um,
it was a long and we didn't wait we didn't we probably waited like 40 minutes.
yeah. But it was, I wish I had gone in there. I kind of like peeked and like kind of showed the side of it, but like Minnie and Daisy were wearing new outfits
Yeah, they look
and
great.
I wish I had seen that.
And just seeing Scrooge was cool. And Scrooge was wearing a scarf, and on the end of his scarf, he showed us it had like a dollar sign on it.
Oh,
And I
there
was
you
like,
go. That's
"You're
cool,
not fully letting go of this, Scrooge."
right?
But yeah, that was a fun character interaction for sure. Club Tinsel was great. They had Club Tinsel is on the stage in Tomorrowland.
Oh, yeah. We
They
went
had
there.
Yeah, Judy Hopps and Nick from Zootopia. And then Santa Goofy was there because Santa Goofy
Oh,
is usually over in Storybook, but because Santa has taken over Storybook, Santa Goofy was dancing at Club Tinsel, and so was Max. And Max had a brand new Christmas sweater on, and it was so cool because it had like power line details on it.
that's cool. We didn't, I saw when we were there, it was Chip and Dale. And then
Oh,
as
good
we
to know.
walked away, they were switching out for Nick and Judy. So I didn't
Okay.
even see that it was Goofy and Max.
They
That's
had
cool,
when I was there, it was Goofy, Max, and Judy and Nick. But look at again, this is for
oh,
people that
that's
are
awesome,
watching on YouTube, but his sweater was so cool, and I'm like, sell this. I want to buy this.
right?
It has
Sell
a
that, sell the Figment sweater.
right. It has a Christmas tree on it, and then it's got all like the power line symbols behind it, kind of faded, and the top of the tree is the power line symbol. But
That's cool.
I thought it was really cool. Nick and I had a fun moment because I told him, "Hey, my name's Nick too."
My name is also Nick, and you guys did that Spider-Man meme where you guys pointed
Yeah.
at each other.
Well, we just needed Santa to be there too, and then it would just been like,
Oh yeah, because your name is Nicholas, like Saint Nicholas.
yeah, but not really because my name is spelled different.
Your name is spelled the same, isn't it?
No,
Like the German way.
maybe it's spelled. I was named after Jack Nicklaus. He's a golfer.
Okay.
I
Yes.
it seems German the way that it's spelled at the end, but
Yeah, because it's like Laos.
AUS, yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Most Nicholases are Nicholas, but mine is not. Mine is Nicklaus. So
Yeah. That
there
sounded
you
like you
have
were
it.
spelling out Mickey Mouse for a second.
Mickey. So
The
yeah,
fireworks were the same.
yeah.
Nothing new about the
Did they
fireworks.
do I didn't get to watch the entire show. Did they do the Carol of the Bells part where it's like the different parts of the castle light up and it's like dun 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 dun.
Yes.
I missed it. I
So
didn't get
much
to
stuff
see
has
that.
happened in the past 2 days that
I didn't get to
I
see that part.
really can't remember.
That's okay. But yeah, overall, I thought that the Christmas party was a fantastic time, and I am so happy that it's back. And I definitely want
Oh,
to try to go again. Maybe you and I can go another night.
yeah, let's do it. The uh, other things that happened during the parade that were new, at least they seem new to me, is that new scents were being
Yeah,
pumped out.
but
They were
like
intense
way more
too.
intense. Yeah.
Yeah. It was
I don't
like
know if
whoever was in charge of the Snope was also in charge of the smells.
someone that I was with was like, is it just me or are they like scenting more right now? Like
Yeah.
it was definitely stronger. And maybe it was just like the first night and those things were charged up and ready to go.
Maybe, yeah, they're like just filled them up to the brim.
Yeah, send it. But it was definitely stronger for sure.
And then some of the characters had new outfits. I
Yeah.
think, and I'm not like really good at remembering this type of stuff, but when I get a feeling sometimes when I see somebody and
Yeah.
I feel like Clarabelle's outfit was new, but I
I don't
haven't
know. I
gotten
can't confirm.
confirmation about that.
I know that the teddy bears had new outfits.
Yeah, and then I think Elsa's outfit might have been new.
Okay.
And then
Maybe.
the the gingerbread house that Clarice stands in front of. Um, if for those of you guys that don't know, Clarice is the Chippendale's friend.
Yeah.
Um, there was neon on there that was like
New.
neon,
Felt
like
new.
bright neon lights.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah.
And I don't remember it ever being that bright in
Me
years
too.
past.
Yeah, I can see that as well. I also felt
Because
like I
I could
could,
see it, like we were, I was close to where you were. Not, we watched two different parades. I watched the
yeah.
second one, you watched the first one, but I could see it down by the castle. I was like, whoa, what are those lights?
Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, because they were so bright. I also feel like the I could hear Santa more than I have ever been able to hear Santa.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I don't know if it's because of the new soundtrack, maybe. Unsure. But
Well, he's mic'd up.
yeah, no, I know. And I've always been able to slightly hear him, but he was definitely the music was a lot more quiet for him. So,
Yeah. And then they filmed the parade for the holiday special yesterday at Magic
yeah.
Kingdom,
And today some too.
and people were people had pictures of Santa and Mrs. Claus were in the final float for that,
What the
which
heck?
they're not during the Christmas party.
Maybe that has to do with the fact that I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know.
On Christmas Day, maybe he goes and picks up Mrs. Claus,
Yeah,
and
he's
he
like, they're on their way to vacation because
right
he's done.
because
He's
he's
like,
done.
finished my shift,
Yeah, that morning
get in the
he's
sleigh,
going to Walt Disney World.
let's go make a quick stop Walt Disney World, then we'll go down to the Bahamas,
Yeah.
just hop, skip,
If
and a jump
Santa
away.
had to sail on a Disney cruise line ship, which one would he sail on?
I mean, I've seen him on the fantasy, so I
Oh,
know that
there you
he's been
go.
on the fantasy.
There you go. I've never seen him on any
So,
of the
and I've
ships.
seen him on the Wish too.
Oh, well, he just makes his rounds. He's
Yeah, he
definitely
does.
like a, what is it, platinum member or
Yeah,
something?
and Pearl for sure. Um, and then for
Anyway,
Jollywood,
yeah. No Santa at
Jolly,
Jollywood.
no
Jollywood
Santa at
Nights.
Jollywood,
I
but
feel like Jollywood Nights is not specifically it's not a Christmas party. It's not. It's not labeled as a Christmas party. It's a holiday party.
yeah,
Yeah.
you know who was there though? No
Santa
Santa,
Santa Duffy.
Doctor Strange.
Oh, yeah, he was.
By the way, it wasn't just Doctor Strange. It was um, who's the what my guy?
What?
What's his name? Got Ryan Gosling
Ryan. Oh,
dressed
yeah. It
as Doctor
straight up
Strange.
looked just like him.
I was like,
Like,
why is Ryan Gosling dressed as Doctor Strange right here?
okay, so I got to see Doctor Strange like at the very beginning of the night because I was in the Muppets area, and I walked out. We did like the fun photo op in the Muppets
Yes.
area.
Greatest
Um,
thing that
it was so
Jollywood
good.
Nights has to offer are
Yeah,
the glam bots or like the photo
yeah,
bots.
so fun and just enjoy it. What did we do for ours? We did the chicken dance.
Oh, that's a good one.
And then the director, she was like, we walked, we walked up and she was like, do you guys know what you're going to do? And I said, yes, the chicken dance. And she was like, oh my gosh, I love that. And she was like, did you see what the props are? Because there was a box of just a bunch of chickens
Yeah,
sitting
rubber
next,
chickens
yeah, rubber chickens. And
because of
I was
Fozzie.
like, yeah. And I was like, could you potentially grab a bunch of those and at the end of our chicken dance, just like toss them up in the air so that they end up in the shot? And she was like, absolutely. And
That's so
so
funny.
we did the
Our
chicken dance.
friend that was with us was like, he asked almost the exact same question of her. He's like, what's the limit to the amount of chickens I could hold? She's like, there is no limit. Have as many chickens as you want. And he's like, all right.
I love it. She was fun. But but yeah, so anyways, we finished with all the Muppet stuff. I went and got after that I went to Pizza Rizzo and got the best food item that you can get at Jollywood Nights, which is the freaking meatball with polenta, and I'm so
It's so
pumped that
good.
it's back. It is so good.
You want to know what the worst item you can get at Jollywood Nights is?
Was it at Pizza Rizzo?
No, it was right outside of Pizza Rizzo at Ice Cold Hydraulics.
Oh, I didn't get any of the food there.
It was the Duffy brownie.
Oh
Ooh,
no,
man, that was a
sad.
yeah.
That's a
Cause
bummer.
they're trying to integrate with Coke.
Oh,
Coca-Cola, big sponsor of Walt Disney World.
yeah.
And so
And
Disney's like, here's what we did. We made a brownie. The frosting is made of Coca-Cola.
oh
The
no.
inside is made of cherry Coke. If you like chocolate, Coke, and cherries all
This is
mixed
for
together,
you.
we've got it. Oh, by the way, the top of it has a caramel piece on it too. And I'm like, what are we doing here?
This is too
Why are there
much.
so many flavors? And also, it was well, if you get it and you enjoy it, you have enjoyed the greatest value at a Magic or at a Walt Disney World park because the thing weighed like 3 pounds. I
Okay.
got it and I was like, why is this so heavy? And it was like 550. And I was like, this
This
is
is
I'm excited to eat this because this is gonna be a great deal. And then I bit into it and I was like, I'm not excited to eat this anymore. Dang.
I went to we were in like full character palooza mode at Jollywood Nights. Like I had that was my some of the stuff that I needed to get for work. But I didn't get to try as many new things. I will say I
Good news, there
splurged
weren't any new things. So
like food wise, you mean?
yeah.
Yeah,
The
really
only
the
place that had new thing was Brown Derby. There was
baseline
like two or three other new things.
yeah, baseline had new mac and cheese croquettes.
Hmm. Which I
Which were
heard were
really
really good.
they were really tasty. I had them, but I did try a couple of the drinks last night, and I had the beer margarita from Baseline.
Everybody said it was bad.
I hated it so much. It was
You're
so
not the
good.
only person that I heard say that.
It was the worst drink that I have ever had. It was so disgusting. I don't know, like I've never had because a lot of places do a margarita and then they'll put like a Corona in it. I don't
Yeah,
know
Corona
what,
Rito.
yeah, I don't know what type of beer was in this, but I It's so weird though because I hated it, but I just kept drinking it. Like, and I
That
don't
was
know
a
if I
tin
was just
cracker move right there.
yeah, I don't know if I was just thirsty, but literally it wasn't just me because my friend that I was with, she tried it and she was like, "Oh," she was like, "That is so bad." But then she was like, "Hey, can I have another sip of that?" And I was like, "Why are we drinking this? Like, what's happening right now?" I don't know if it was just in a weird way. It didn't taste good, but it was refreshing.
Mm,
Does that make sense?
yeah.
It was
It was
it was
dehydrating you, and you're like, man, I got to get this
Give me some
get my
more of that
hydration up.
dehydration. Even
Give me
more
some
so
more of
because it
that
was,
dehydration.
yeah, it was salt rimmed, so it was probably like
Oh my
absorbing
gosh.
all of the like water. Yeah, it was not good. I would probably skip that. But I did have uh, I a friend of mine had the sugar cookie martini.
Oh, I heard that
That,
that was good.
that was really tasty. Tasted like dessert. And then I had this like caramel apple cider with like apple pie moonshine in it.
Whoa.
That was very tasty. That was really sweet. Tasted like dessert. Um, but I'm trying to think if there was any of the new food that I
We
tried as
had
well.
the holiday popovers, which
I
were
had a holiday popover.
very good, but they're not
Yeah.
new.
No.
Um,
Tastes like
we
Thanksgiving
had
dinner.
yeah, we had the meatball, of
Yeah,
course, and then
me
we
too.
had the Italian beef there too. It had the flavor. It was very delicious, but they really skimped out on the amount of beef that was in there. It was a lot
That's what
more
I heard
bread than there
too.
was beef.
Yeah, I
But
heard that
like,
as well.
if I could just get a little bit more beef, it would have been
Mm,
perfect because
right.
the flavor was so good. Um, I'm trying
But
to think.
overall, and we'll get into shows and stuff like that too. But I did want to say last year I went night one of Jollywood Nights and I really just had a bad time. Like I really did not. And Tim had a great time,
Yeah, we
but
did. It was so good.
you were the exception though. Like you had a good time, but the majority of people who experienced that event on night one did not enjoy it. Like
Well, okay. So I have a theory about this. I
which
think that they went in thinking that they could uh how do I put this? They want like a lot of the people that go on the first night are going as content creators.
right.
And those are the people that had a bad time
I
because
but
they were
I know regular guests that didn't enjoy it either.
right, because they were probably trying to do the same thing that the content creators were doing, like go to Brown Derby. Brown Derby was not a good time on the first night
No.
of last year.
Yeah.
Um, some of
But
the
that's a
lines
problem
were
though.
long.
Like Brown Derby not being good last year was a problem. Like
Right.
there were a lot of problems that first night that they have now fixed for
Yeah.
sure.
No, this year, if the I would be surprised if people that had a bad time last year had a bad time this year.
1000%. Like it was a complete 180 on the event for me.
Yeah. There were more showings of the shows.
Yeah,
So the lines were shorter for the
yeah,
shows,
yeah,
which was a big complaint last year. More characters were around, which was a big complaint about the lines last year were long for the characters. And then they changed up Brown Derby.
yeah, yeah.
So
Did you go into Brown Derby?
no, I didn't. We
Neither
will
did we.
probably the next time we go
Yeah.
because the food looks awesome.
Yeah, I heard that it was a great time. Like a lot of people said that they could have stayed in there even longer than they did. Which last year I couldn't wait to get out of there. So
Right.
Um, but yeah, so I did not do a lot of shows. Again, I was there for work, so I was really just trying to like check the things off my list that I needed to do, which a lot of that was meeting characters. Doctor Strange was very exciting though. I walked out of Muppets and I saw him standing there and I saw people talking to him and I thought it was a guest at first. Like I thought a guest had just dressed
Yeah,
up like
because he was doing the Disneyland move where it's just kind of like wandering around the
right.
streets in
Which
the shadows.
there was a lot of that at Jollywood Nights last night. Like there was army men from Toy Story that were just kind
Oh,
of
that's
roaming
cool.
around. Yeah. Um Also Mandalorian was greeting in Galaxy's Edge, which I thought was really cool.
And he had a photo pass photographer, which is
Right.
uncommon.
And he wasn't roaming. It was like a meet and greet.
Yeah.
Yeah. Did you go back there?
No.
Neither did I.
So here's a fun story of me and Nick last night. Nick would call me and I was in the middle of talking to somebody or doing something, so I couldn't pick up. And then I would call him back, and he's like, "Hey, where are you?" And I'm like, "I'm outside of the commissary." And
You spent
then
your whole night at the
the
commissary.
next time that he called me, like an hour and a half later, he's like, "Where are you?" I was like, "I'm outside of the commissary."
I'm like, what are you doing? There's
I
nothing
had
at the commissary.
it was my walk towards Muppets and then my walk away from Muppets
I
just
don't even
happened
think it
to
was an hour and a half. I think
coincide.
it was like 2 or 3 hours
Yeah,
later.
it was a long time,
Yeah.
and I was just in the exact same spot. But I was because I didn't look up locations of things. I was
Uh,
like, oh, okay, like this is happening again this year. I'm excited to see that. The Fiesta in La Calle. I was like, or Calle, which is it?
in La Calle. Yeah. I
Okay.
mean, yeah, yeah.
Uh
That's appropriately pronounced.
okay.
Yeah.
But it was last year it was in front of the commissary and we walked back there and I was like, oh no, is it not, did they like not get it out in time this year? But then it turns out that it was over there in um out in front of the
It
Star
was
Wars
an
launch bay
animation courtyard.
animation courtyard, and
Yeah.
it was a party.
It was a
It was
party, but I didn't love it there.
really,
No, because I feel like it's such a big space and
yeah,
it feels so empty. And they're also like, and maybe this has to do with electrical, but they're so far back in the corner. They're almost like at the entrance of like the Disney Junior show. And I would rather them come and be dead center in front of Launch Bay and a little bit closer to the middle of that space so that it was a little bit more interactive. I think they have way more room than they did being outside of ABC Commissary last year for sure. But I almost liked it by ABC Commissary because you have the palm trees there and then the string lights
okay,
kind of going
yeah,
back and forth, and it feels very like Miami to me.
okay,
Um, but I love it. It's a party for sure. Like people were literally like, I could stay here most of the night. Like I don't want to leave this area. But I feel like a lot of little there's these like little pop-up party places like that all over Hollywood Studios. You've got that. You've got the Tip Top Lounge over in
yeah. Tip Top Club outside of Tower of Terror.
yeah, Tip Top Club outside of Tower Terror. That one to me personally for me is the most underwhelming
Yeah. Well,
because
this year, so they added stuff this year. This year, so you go back there and it's like the 1920s, and there's a band playing 1920s style music. But then this year they added dancers out there. Same thing with the Fiesta.
yeah,
They added a ton of lights out there and a
yeah,
ton of like party atmosphere type stuff. And then they had a lot of dancers back there when
yeah,
we were there. There was like three groups of dancers.
yeah,
And then Jose was out too.
yeah.
And it was like
Jose
we went over
from
there and started dancing with him, and it was a good
Three
time with no line
Caballeros.
for him.
Yeah, yeah.
Um, but then around what's that one called? Echo Lake or Hourglass Lake? Echo Lake?
Echo Lake. What do you mean?
Where Gertie is.
Yeah,
What's the
Echo
name of that
Lake.
lake? Echo
Yeah,
Lake. That was like 1990s to early 2000s was the theme of that.
yeah.
So that's where like
All
Phineas
those
and Ferb met
characters were.
last year and stuff like that.
Yeah.
I didn't get to go over to that side.
I did. I got well because I was on Character Palooza, so I had to go over there to meet a bunch of the characters. And then I did. Last year, all I wanted was a Gertie cookie, and I didn't get it, which was really sad. So this year, I got my dang Gertie cookie, and I mean, it was just a sugar cookie, but I was
Yeah,
just excited to have it for
it
sure.
looks cool.
Yeah. Um, for me, where I could have spent most of my time was the freaking Pixar party in Pixar
Yeah.
Plaza. It is literally there's a DJ and you have Joy, Sadness, Mike Wazowski, and Frozone, and they
And Edna
are
mode.
and Edna Mode, and they are constantly out there. Like some may go away, but because people were like, oh, were they like two and two, like Frozone and Mike and Edna, and then they'd switch, and then Joy and Sadness? No, no, no. Like it was regularly where they were obviously they were taking breaks, and some of them would come and go, but they were like out there for a long period of time, and they had smoke bubbles, and you can win me with smoke. As soon as smoke bubbles show up, I'm there. Like it's officially a win for me. But like the music was just so much fun. They were mixing like music from Nick's like high school days with holiday music. they were doing Soldier Boy, but like with a Christmas overlay. And instead of saying you, they were going Yule. And it was
That's
the
pretty funny.
greatest thing ever. It just was, it was such a blast. Like I loved the energy over there so much. It was great. It was a great
Yeah,
time.
we met you back there,
Yeah.
and you're like, oh, I wish, or Adriana was maybe like, I wish that Sadness was still out, and then like Sadness came out like a few
Yeah.
minutes later, and she came out to Summertime Sadness, and I
So
was like,
good.
this is pretty fun.
It was intentional,
Um,
I'm sure of
and I felt bad because, and the DJ was like, you guys should go dance with her because
it.
everybody like formed a circle, sort of like a semicircle around her to film her,
Yeah.
but nobody was like interacting with her. And so I gave it like a beat and I was like, I'm gonna go over there and dance with Sadness because, and then Sadness was like, like it, yeah, let's do this.
Yeah.
Not like, as sad as excited as Sadness can be.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
And her dance was just like
Yeah. She
her
literally
little
like
fingers
points.
together.
Yeah.
Um, but I saw some of the greatest things I'd ever seen in that dance party.
Love
Number
that.
one, Sadness dancing. Number two, Edna Mode dancing. Number three, Mike Wazowski was amazing.
He
Like
regularly wanted to give people high fives, but he has like the longest arms and cannot give you high fives.
I saw him do a spin and whack a kid in the face. And I was like, this is amazing.
I love it so much.
And
Also,
like,
that was where I saw the most children. Like it seemed like parents like planted themselves there with their little kids because the kids were living it up in that area.
yeah. And
And
then
by kids, I mean me, but
yeah,
no, no actual like children were there.
Frozone was working up a sweat because when he high fived us, it was wet.
Oh, jeez.
And so,
I'm not shocked by that because they were really dancing.
yeah, they were. It was a good time.
Um, what about the shows?
We
Did
saw,
you
oh,
all of
Glisten.
them? Yeah.
No, we'd seen the other ones were the same, I think, as last
No.
year.
Well, I know Nightmare Before Christmas was the same, and this is just I didn't. Yes, I the only show that I watched. Well, I watched two. I watched Glisten, and then I watched the oh I don't remember the name of it, but it's the one with Kermit and
No, it's
Miss
like Home
Piggy.
for the Holidays or something. It's Holiday. I don't remember
Holiday
the name of it either, but yeah,
Holidays in Hollywood, I
Holiday
think.
Celebration. Yeah, Holidays in Hollywood. That makes
Something like
sense.
that. Yeah. Last year, it was like a whole production. And but by that I mean like there was a like an MC that would come out and would say
Yeah,
like, "All right, cut." You know, like you were basically the live audience of a show that was being directed and filmed, which
yeah.
was pretty cool because it felt like old school Hollywood studios or old school MGM, where it's like that fifth wall sort of thing, you know, like
Right.
you're part of the show. They eliminated all of that this year, and now it's
Oh,
just like the parts of the show that like as the studio audience that you were watching, it's just that now.
okay. Like cut it
So
down a little bit.
yeah, which I almost wonder, I'd have to go back and fact check this, but I almost wonder if they were able to squeeze in an additional show time because they eliminated
Yeah.
all of that.
There
Which
were four
prob
showtimes this year, and I
okay,
think there were only three last year.
okay. And even if not, by adding the ice skating show, I think that helped even more with crowd control because
Yeah.
one of the things that happened last year is that people were waiting forever for in lines to get into some of these shows. I didn't feel that at all this year. And
Yeah.
again, I didn't wait for a lot of shows, but it felt like the crowd was moving really well this time
Yeah.
around.
Yeah. It never felt crowded at all
Right,
anywhere.
right.
As opposed to Very Merry, felt crowded everywhere.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
Um, but the ice skating show, new this year, a lot of fun, a lot of really good original songs for the ice skating.
yeah,
Um, it was interesting because the way that it is like there's a section in front that you have to sit down in.
yeah,
And there's like a tape line that they put out that like if you're beyond the tape line, you could stay standing up.
right.
Which was something I've never seen them do
Me
at a
either.
Disney park in America.
Yeah, I've never seen that either. And I will say that, you know, obviously they need to make sure that they have space um, for like ECVs. It was interesting because they parked the ECVs in the like those guests must have gotten there quickly, and they were parked in the front of that sitting area.
Yeah,
So where I sat kind of further in the back, it wasn't like I was looking over guests who were sitting on the ground. I was having to sort of look over guests that were sitting in their ECVs, which made it a little bit more difficult to see from that
right,
viewpoint.
right.
It almost feels like I don't know how they would address that. I don't know how it would be different. Probably I would just need to get there earlier.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was interesting having being in that little area, having to sit the entire time was
But I
interesting.
will say you could watch it standing up and see it totally fine.
Yeah. Yeah, and it never felt overly crowded. Like I was there at the first show and then I was there at the last show. And both times I walked up, the last show I walked up while it had already started, and I walked right up and could see everything just fine. Um, the first show I walked up ahead of it, but not that far ahead of it, and got a seat just fine. So it never was
Yeah,
like
the
overly
first
crowded.
show we walked up about halfway through and kind of stood behind one layer of people
Yeah,
and we could see totally fine.
yeah.
Like just for a
I
split
loved
second.
the show though. I think it's great.
Yeah, it's
Great
good.
addition. Yeah. Um,
Um, Sunset Season Greetings, same as it's always been. Jingle Bell, Jingle Bam. Did you watch it?
I did that. I was gonna say that was the only time that I felt like crowded, but that makes sense because it's the only time that it happens. And it's interesting because they changed that from last year. Last year that happened at the end of the night. It was like the
Yeah,
conclusion of the event. This year it happens at 10 p.m. So kind of like right in the middle of the night.
yeah. I thought that was interesting. I think
Yeah,
this year it was longer. I think the event was longer by an hour
it
this year.
was. Yeah, 7:30 to
Yeah,
12:30, which is also nice. I liked that there was an extra hour. It also
yeah.
felt like less rushed.
But also it was strange because you could only get in there at 6. Like with
Right.
Magic Kingdom and Very Merry, you can get in at 4 and the event starts at 7.
Yeah.
This
Yeah.
one, you could get in at 6 and the event starts at 7:30. And they kind of pushed you backstage to get in. And
Yeah.
there was like the Jollywood Nights neon sign was there.
Yeah.
But when we got in, it wasn't 7:30 yet. And they're like, you can't stop and take a photo with this neon sign yet. At 7:30, you can.
That's
Come
so
back at
strange
7:30.
because you got there after me and
I
they were
got there at
letting
like 6:45.
I know you got there after me because I walked in with our friend and he was waiting for you guys. And we took pictures together at that sign.
That's so strange. And then we came
Yeah.
back at 7:30 and they're like, "We're just doing one-way traffic right now." And we're like, "I don't okay." So we
You
just went back
guys,
at the end of the night.
I was gonna say, because I saw you leaving. You didn't see
Yeah.
me, but I could see you.
What? Where were
I
you?
have pictures of that sign at 6:30. So it must have
Like
started getting
yourself with the sign or just
well,
pictures of the sign?
of me with the sign and
Okay. Yeah, they
my
weren't letting us stop to take photo. Like we
part of
could
my
take
crew.
a photo, but they're like, "Don't stop and take a photo." You know
Strange.
what I mean?
I have
Like
a
they didn't
feeling
even
that
give
it
you a
got
line, I
overly
guess.
crowded. Yeah, it must have like because it's not a big space. They must have
Yeah,
been like, we've got to stop letting people take pictures with this thing.
right.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Which is kind of a bummer because that's what people are going to want to do.
Yeah.
Like when you
But I
walk
think
through
what it
there,
was it was too because last year it was out in front of like the photo
crossroads. Yeah.
crossroads area, and they had to move it every day.
Oh,
Like they
it's
put it out
permanent
for
there
the
now.
event. Yeah, now
Yeah.
it's just backstage. So they just leave it there
Yeah. Shut the
and then
doors.
like shut the
Yeah.
doors. Yeah,
Yeah.
shut the door.
Shut the gate. No, I think overall though, big fan of Jollywood Nights.
Yeah.
Would I choose, which one would you pick? Jollywood or Mickey's Very Merry Christmas Party?
Oh, man, that's really hard.
They're so different.
They are so different. Here's my pros. Jollywood was more of a vibe
Yeah.
where like you're just like
You're so hip saying
yeah,
that.
you're like in it. You're feeling like holiday and jolly and Jollywood.
Yeah.
And then Very Merry is more in your face,
Yeah.
like Christmas. And then Jollywood Nights is like, hey man, it's Christmas. Hang out.
Welcome to the holiday party.
Welcome to the
Yeah.
holiday party.
Yeah. I would pick Mickey's Very Merry Christmas Party
Yeah,
just
but
because I'm a sucker for that event. But
it was more stressful. You know
yeah,
what I mean?
I
Like there
didn't
was
feel
more. It Very Merry was not stressful. I shouldn't say the word stressful because like if you're going as a guest, it's it's like,
it can feel
you
more
know,
overwhelming. It can feel more overwhelming because there's that much more to do. You've got parade, you've got fireworks show, you've got like there's more things that you need to be at.
yeah.
Not necessarily need to, but in order to feel like you're getting the value for what you paid for. Yeah, I get that for sure. It's a different
And
vibe.
there's more rides that you can go on at
Yeah.
Very Merry. It's a bigger event.
I forget about the rides at Hollywood Studios during Jollywood Nights, which I know that some people would not because they'd want to go ride rides because the
Oh
wait
man.
times are shorter. Rise last night was like consistently at a 15-minute wait.
Here's what bummed me out. I saw Michael. Michael does Disney, and he's
Yeah.
like, the greatest thing we did tonight was ride Tower of Terror, and we had our own
Yeah.
elevator.
Yeah,
And I
yeah.
was like, oh man, I want to go do that. So he's like, they're still like it was the end of the night. He's like, they're still letting people on. So we're like, let's go. So we went, but like everybody was going on. So
Oh,
like we didn't have a wait, but still was a full elevator,
oh yeah.
which was still fun. Like it was
Yeah.
a good ride. I like the ride. But that idea of getting an elevator to ourselves
By
sounded
yourselves.
awesome.
I I I what are the words? I wish that one thing that they'll add eventually for Jollywood though is to add overlays on some of the attractions.
You know what I want them to add?
What?
Mickey premium bars.
Yeah.
Give me, I'm paying
Yeah.
the same amount
Oh, more.
as,
Sometimes
yeah.
Jollywood is more than Mickey's Very Merry Christmas Party, and you get
And you're
cookies
like
and
giving
hot
me cookies
cocoa.
and stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't care. Give me popcorn. Give
Yeah.
me one food item that I don't have to pay for.
I agree with that. I totally agree with that.
You know, I'm still
Popcorn and
going to pay for food items,
yeah.
just
Yeah.
like Mickey premium bars,
Bottles of
popcorns,
water
bottles
and
of
popcorn.
water.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah,
sell
I'd
it
be
as an
so
after
down for
hours
that.
event.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean the pricing should be about the same as an after hours event. So
Yeah,
I I agree with that, but I do think some like overlays on some of the attractions would be fun. Like think about Tower of Terror holiday version. Don't know how that works. Don't know how you do it. But maybe you put some red and green lights in the elevator shafts that are you're going by like as you're
okay.
going up and
Yeah,
down. Um,
ghostly Santa.
I think like Slinky Dog, you get like a
Slinky Dog you could do for sure.
yeah, you get a different like audio playing.
Hmm.
Um, develop some new graphics for Toy Story Mania that are all holiday screens. I think that would be fun. I will forever think that Batu should be celebrating Life Day and that you should put Chewie out there with a red robe and an orb because I think it's great that they have the Mandalorian back there now because it like some people
Yeah,
will
we're
go back
breaking the
there.
timeline.
Right, just do it. Just do it. Just make it
Yeah,
happen.
it's fine. Like there is no longer a timeline because you guys closed down Star Cruiser. So let's go.
Give me Life Day.
Yeah.
Yeah. Um, I think that the cast members that are working in Oga's should all be wearing red robes.
Yeah.
They're like
Well,
stuffed.
so they did take another step. So Very Merry cast members have a Very Merry costume.
Right.
Jollywood Nights cast members have a Jollywood Nights name tag
Yeah.
topper. It
Looked
like
looked
goes
really
on top
cool.
of their name tag.
Yeah, it looked great.
So they are working towards a
Yeah.
costume specific. If this event keeps going and continues to grow in popularity,
I think that
they
if
will
they
eventually
continue
change some
to
stuff.
yeah, I think this year is going to get really good feedback. And I think that as they continue to do that, they're going to continue to get like the event can only continue to develop for sure.
Yeah.
Like there will continue they could one day you could see a cavalcade maybe
Oh yeah.
at Jollywood Nights. I think that would be fantastic.
That'd be good.
Um
Put those Camaros back out just for Jollywood Nights.
yeah. Yeah, those were so fun a couple of
Yeah.
years ago. Um I'm trying to think of one of the other things that I was going to say. It had to do oh, Mickey's Very Merry Christmas Party, backpedaling a little bit, but there were some new things when you walked it down like that side area too. You've
Hmm.
got um gingerbread men doing a meet and greet which is
Yeah.
new. They've never done that before. And like the DJ over there, everything felt like more exciting walking into the party.
Well, last year it was the toy soldiers that were meeting over there.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
Yeah.
So not
So,
brand new.
um, and the other thing, sorry, forward pedaling back to Jollywood Nights is at the exit last year you got coasters. This year you got Wonder Made marshmallows in champagne flavor,
Did you eat them?
which I did. They are not my favorite.
Okay, listen. We got promo boxes from Disney for work because we were like working on putting together these boxes for creators. Um, I had one then and I enjoyed it. I thought it was pretty tasty. I had mine last night when I got back to the room. First of all, I was with my friends and my friend Allison. Allison was on the podcast a couple weeks ago. I went back and hung out with her and her boyfriend Daniel after the event because we had to catch up on posting all of our stories. And we were up way too late. We were like slap happy. It was like almost 3 o'clock in the morning. And we like pulled it. We were like, whoa, my gosh, we almost forgot about the marshmallows. Let's get those. Like, let's try them. We smelled them. They smell absolutely awful. Like
Oh no.
they smell like bread, which is really weird and bizarre. And then I don't know if it was just because we were so tired or what, but I tried it. It was disgusting.
Oh no.
I did not like it at all. But maybe that was just us. Maybe that's just like our experience with it. But I don't know. It was a kind of a bummer because the coasters were kind of cool last year.
Hmm. I do. We still do use the coasters here
Yeah.
at the house, but if you're a fan of the champagne flavor, I think you will like those marshmallows.
I like champagne, but they didn't taste like that to me.
Oh, mine tasted exactly like champagne, so
Maybe we
maybe
got a
we just
bad
got a bad
batch.
batch.
Yeah.
Oh, Star Wars.
Yeah, that's what I thought of too. Anyways, I was curious. I just looked to see if after the first night, a lot of times nights will sell out for these events. Jollywood Nights still there's availability for every single one. So
Hmm.
you've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 6 nights left in November and 6 nights in December. Because Jollywood Nights is way more limited than Mickey's Very Merry Christmas Party is. So
Yeah.
I would do it. I say if you have an interest, if you love Hollywood studios during the holidays, I don't know if I think kids could go to this event and have a blast because it's definitely marketed as more of an adult event. I still think kids would have a great time. I think the whole family would have a great time together for sure.
Yeah.
Um, I think it is great for a date night though. Like
Yeah.
I get why it's marketed towards adults. If you have the opportunity and your whole family is traveling together and mom and dad can leave the kiddos with the grandparents at the hotel and have the opportunity to like go have a date night during their trip, I would say this is the perfect event for you. But I do think kids could go and have a great time as well. I met a kid. Oh my
I
gosh,
met a child.
I met a child. I'm going to forget his name because he listens to the podcast, and that's a bummer. All I remember is that he was 10 years old. Anyways, he was with his mom, and I asked him if he had a great time, and he said that he had a blast. So definitely, like kids can go and have a great time, but I think it's the perfect date night for sure.
Yeah.
So, anyways,
Cool.
well, there it
I
is.
think it's 11 o'clock at night
Yeah,
now.
it's very late, and also I have to download and then upload this episode. So,
Yeah.
but I will see you this week sometime, and we will.
Oh no.
You're good. We will be together, and we may be in a new location. TBD.
Okay. I don't I don't know what we have planned.
We don't have anything
I have the
specific planned.
biggest cough. I can't. Oh my gosh, what the heck?
Are you okay?
It's that Snope. It's
Still
still
good.
coming
Yeah.
back to me.
All right. Well, stay tuned. We'll be back with more fun next week, but thank you all so much for tracking with us.
Bye.